Hello, this is Steve. Today we're going to talk about how to build Java to Salesforce microservices with no programming. For you to do this example yourself, you're going to need three things. The first thing is the Intellij Java Community Edition. This is a free download. It's a Java development environment. Second, you're going to need an Intellij plugin called Illuminated Cloud. This turns your Java development environment into a Salesforce development environment. Third thing you're going to need is the ObjectRiver Cloud Compiler plugin. This is another plugin you plug into Intellij. So basically this whole demo will be done from Intellij. Now what we're doing is we're combining two videos, the Java and Salesforce. Now there's three videos you could watch to recap this, and the first one is the Java Web Services Development video. The other is the Salesforce Web Services video, and the third one is the Salesforce Part 2 Security video that shows you how to build a connected app in Salesforce to allow you to securely make microservices calls into Salesforce. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the Java development environment. And this is the starter screen. I'm going to say create new project. I'm going to go to Java development project. And we're just going to go to our samples directory. And we're going to open a sample called Salesforce. I'm going to open that. Now you're in the Java development environment, and basically our samples come with just all empty directories. The only thing in here is a model. We're going to open the model. This is called a REST model. And here we're describing one microservice. And the microservice is called getPhoneNumber. It takes three arguments. It takes a first name, a last name, and it takes a phone type. And this phone type is an enumeration. It's described here. And so this is the syntax for an enumeration. And so a phone type has four elements: home, office, call, and beeper. And so this is the description. Now this is called metadata. So this is the metadata for your microservice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a cloud compiler execution. I'm going to go here. I'm going to select cloud compiler. I'm going to name this one Java because I want to generate the Java stuff. We're going to say client and server. I'm going to go select our model. That's what we just looked at. Put in an email address. I'm going to select the Intellij module. We're going to delete the build. We don't need to do a build before we run it. We're going to execute the compiler. Now the compiler is going out to Amazon and it's executing the model and then it's generating Java code. So that generated this Java code. I'm going to do a little bookkeeping in Intellij for the Java. I'm going to come here. I'm going to say this is the test directory. We generate tests for you to test your software, and we're going to execute a test. That's what's going to connect to Salesforce. Also going to add some dependencies, which are libraries that we generated. Say OK. I'm going to come over here. We generated a build script called AMP. This is how Java builds itself. And we're going to execute this var target. A var is a library of Java classes. If you were to deploy your application to the web, you can see it generated this var file. And now we're done with the Java side. So we're going to come over here and we're going to add another compiler run. I'm going to duplicate that Java one. And I'm going to call this Apex. Apex is the programming language of Salesforce. So I can come to this menu, and I can tell the cloud compiler, yes, I have running the REST toolkit. I want to generate Apex code, and I'm going to generate client and server. Only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to target it to the SalesForce directory here. So I'm saying the output goes to this directory. I'm going to say OK. So now I'm going to run the Apex code generation. And now this is, again, it's going out to Amazon. It's generating a bunch of Apex code. Stop that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to configure the Illuminated Cloud for this directory. So Illuminated Cloud is a plugin, and we're going to create another module. This is a Salesforce term, and so this project will have two modules. So we're going to say new, we're going to say module, we're going to say Illuminated Cloud. I'm going to select the SalesForce. This is my Salesforce login. I can test it. It says the configuration is valid. I can say OK. This is the metadata that's up there. You go next. I'm going to uncheck this box. Retrieve metadata from Salesforce. We don't want to retrieve all our other metadata. We have all the metadata we want. And so you probably want to uncheck this also. I'm going to say finish. Now, Illuminated Cloud, what it's doing is it's gathering all the metadata from the server, and it's building a repository, an offline symbol table. And this allows it to have all of the references for you to navigate around your Salesforce if you're developing it down here. That's going to take a second. Also, everything we're showing you, all this ObjectRiver toolkit is completely free. We're a boutique consulting company, and we're putting our technology online for other people to use. So now that's done that. Now let's go. Now we can go look at our source code. Indexing, refactoring. Whoa. Okay. There we go. So now here we go. This is our source code. The only thing that you should be probably interested in is this. This is your server-side get phone number code. Close this down. Let's take a look at this code. What you do is you go to the bottom, and this little function right here, get phone number impl. This is implementation. It passes you your 3 arguments, and then as you can see, there's a comment here. It says insert business logic here. Okay, so this is where you'd go look up the user and fill in the phone number and return it. And we have the phone number as a long. So I'm going to put in a phone number. And there's the business logic here. So that's the phone number. So this microservice will return that phone number. Save that. Now we're going to come over to our Apex code. We're going to highlight it. And we're going to pull the menu right. And we're going to go here and we're going to say deploy all metadata. Now what we're doing is we're sending this metadata up to Salesforce. And Salesforce is going to compile that in the cloud. And it's going to be part of our Salesforce cloud. There's 15 files. Queuing them up. Sending them out. Now that's up in Salesforce now. Okay, so now we want to run our test program. We'll run this test program right here. Now I have to do a little bit of programming here. I lied. In the client, you have to, if you want Salesforce, you have to put true here. So if it's Salesforce, we're going to go down here. We're going to change this to my login, which you saw is SalesForce at ObjectRiver.net. Now this is a Salesforce login. We're not going to ObjectRiver.net. So we're going to go here. That's in 2 places. It's explained more in okay. So we did that. So we make the right connection to Salesforce. There's also one other thing, and this is described more in detail in the other video. But I'm going to come here, and there's this key stuff. And this is part of the security of SalesForce. One of the things you have to do is in SalesForce there can be a namespace. And so if your org or the Salesforce cloud you're connecting to has an org, you have to fill it in here. This is ORC, is ObjectRiver Corporation. So we fill this in. If you don't fill this in and you have an org, you're going to get a page not found. Okay, so now we've done that. So that's kind of the bookkeeping you got to do. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to run this example. Now let me show you what this did. All right, here's your long Salesforce URL, and you can see this is the org here. Remember I told you it generates random data. Find the slider here. So here's your get phone number URL. Your first name is this random data. Your last name is this random data. And then your phone number is a random of the enumerations in said office. And then you can see that it returned the phone number of ObjectRiver. So that's it. We basically built microservice from Java to Salesforce with no programming, and it's this easy. It really is. Thanks for watching.